Good morning, my dear students. Another Tuesday, and we are with our regular online class. And today, we discuss some bonding theories of coordination compounds. So, we move to the bonding theories of coordination compounds. The first theory for coordination compounds was proposed by Alfred Werner, and we have seen Werner's coordination theory. As time advanced, many phenomena of coordination compounds were unaddressed by Werner's coordination theory. So, a new theory was proposed based on valence bond theory of covalent compounds. And VB theory was able to explain many of the observed phenomena of coordination compounds. So, VB theory of coordination compounds is based on several postulates. We have to see these postulates one by one and have to apply in structural determination of coordination compounds. So, the first postulate of VB theory was the central metal atom should make available vacant atomic orbitals to accommodate lone pair of electrons from the ligands. That means it is the duty of the central metal atom to make available vacant orbitals equal to the coordination number. So, the central metal atom should make available vacant orbitals. We know any atomic orbital can accommodate a maximum of 2 electrons. So, how many coordination numbers are there, or how many lone pair of electrons are donated to the central metal atom, that central metal atom should make available that orbitals needed or required for making metal ligand bonding. The second postulate was the number of vacant orbitals should be equal to the coordination number. And the third postulate is that these vacant metal orbitals should undergo hybridization to form hybrid orbitals of same energy and same shape. The metal atom should make vacant orbitals, and we know these orbitals are having different energy and different shape. So, the concept of hybridization will make these different atomic orbitals with different energy and shape to hybrid orbitals of same energy and same shape. So, the third postulate states that the vacant metal orbital should undergo hybridization to form hybrid orbitals of same energy and same shape. Fourth postulate states that these hybrid orbitals should be placed in three-dimensional space at maximum distance to have minimum repulsion between them, and it determines the geometry or shape of the coordination compound. So, the hybrid orbitals has to be placed at maximum distance to have minimum repulsion, and this placement in three-dimensional space determines the geometry or shape of the coordination compound. The lone pair of electrons from the ligand enters into these hybrid orbitals to form metal ligand coordinate bond. So, each vacant hybrid orbitals will receive lone pair of electrons from the ligand to form metal ligand coordinate bond. Finally, the magnetic character and the net spin value of the coordination compound depends upon the number of unpaired electrons present in the unhybridized metal orbitals. So, the unpaired electrons in the unhybridized metal orbital determines whether the compound is diamagnetic or paramagnetic. These are the important postulates of VB theory for coordination compounds. And based on this theory, we have to explain the hybridization and geometry of coordination compounds. Take down. So we take an example and explain the postulates of VB theory. See, when I explain the example, you need not take the screenshot. You take your pen and paper or notebook and write as such I proceed, because it will help you to work out other examples easily. So don't wait to take screenshot. Follow me, take down the notes as such for these some slides. It will help you to derive the geometry and structure of other compounds. Okay. Now see here, in this particular compound, I have K3COF6 or COF6 3 minus. So the IUPAC name of this particular compound is potassium hexafluorocobaltate 3. Potassium hexafluorocobaltate 3. That means here the central metal atom is cobalt and it exists in +3 oxidation state. So we explain the structure of K3COF6 or COF6 3 minus. The central atom is cobalt, which have a ground state configuration of 3d7, 4s2, 4p0 and 4d0. So draw this picture. Cobalt atom in the ground state with atomic number 27. So this is 3d orbital. It contains 7 electrons and we have 4s with 2 electrons and 4p and 4d are vacant. Now see here, in this particular compound, cobalt is in +3 oxidation state. That means it has to lose 3 electrons. So 2 electrons will be lost from the 4s orbital because it is the valence shell. Now the third electron has to be lost from the 3d orbital, that is this paired electron. So as per Hen's rule of maximum multiplicity, we have to remove this electron rather than this electron. So 1 electron from 3d and 2 electrons from 4s are removed to become cobalt +3. See here, take down. From the S, the electron has lost. The unpaired electron is here. Now 3 electrons were lost, 2 from 4s and 1 from 3d. Now see, as per VB theory, the central metal atom should make 6 vacant orbitals. Why? Because it contains 6 ligands, 6 F- ligand. So VB theory first postulate states that the central metal atom should make available vacant metal orbitals equal to the number of coordination number. or number of ligands. So here this metal CO plus 3 has to make 6 orbitals vacant. See here 1 4s, 3 4p and 2 4d. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 4s, 4p and 2 4d. 6 orbitals are now vacant here. Take down. Now these orbitals should undergo hybridization. Why? To have same energy and same shape. We know 1 4s, 3 4p and 2d orbitals are taking part in hybridization to form sp3d2 hybridization. Why it undergo hybridization? Because 4s is spherical, 4p is dumbbell and 4d is double dumbbell. So hybridization makes them orbitals having same energy and same shape. So it undergoes sp3d2 hybridization. Draw this and take down. I am representing the sp3d2 hybridization here. So as per VB theory, these hybrid orbitals, that is sp3d2 hybrid orbitals, has to be placed in three-dimensional space in an octahedral manner. Why it is in octahedral manner? To have minimum repulsion and maximum stability. So these sp3d2 hybrid orbitals which are vacant are placed in an octahedral manner and lone pairs of electron from 6f minus fluoride ions, they are the ligands, enter into these hybrid orbitals to form cobalt fluoride bond. See here, these are the electron pairs of the ligands. 6 electron pairs from 6f minus ion to form cobalt fluorine 1 bond, cobalt fluorine 2 bond, cobalt fluorine 3 bond, 4, 5 and 6 in an octahedral manner. Take down. Now see here, the compound has formed. But see here, in this particular compound there is 4 unpaired electrons. 4 unpaired electrons here. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 unpaired electrons present in the metal cobalt. So, in this molecule there is 4 unpaired electron, hence it is a high spin complex because the spin is maximum plus half, plus half, plus half, plus half. And here the outer 4d orbital is taking part in hybridization, that is the 4d orbital is taking part in hybridization. So it is a outer orbital complex. So COF63 minus is a high spin complex. It is an outer orbital complex. See, This is the octahedral geometry. See here, we have cobalt, fluorine, 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 fluorine. This is the structure. Hence, we can say CO F63 minus is sp3d2 hybridized. It is a outer orbital complex. It is a high spin complex having octahedral geometry and paramagnetic. That means it contains 4 unpaired electrons. Take down. So we move to another example, that is K4 FeCN6 or FeCN6 4 minus. The IUPAC name of this compound is potassium hexacyanoferrate, and the metal atom is iron, which is in +2 oxidation state. So now we move to the structure and hybridization of K4 FeCN6. We know the central atom is iron and it is having an atomic number of 26. Hence, for neutral iron atom, the configuration is 3d6 4s2 4p0. So, the 4s electrons are paired and one of the 3d orbital is paired. Now, in this compound, the metal atom iron is in +2 oxidation state. Hence, it has to lose 2 electrons. So, the electrons will be lost from the 4s orbital. Draw this. So, the electrons will be lost from the 4s orbital. So, the electronic configuration of Fe2 ion in the ground state becomes 3d6 4s0 4p0. Take down. So, as per VB theory, the central atom should make available vacant atomic orbitals equal to the coordination number. So, the vacant orbitals are made up by the iron atom. How? By making the unpaired electrons present in the 3d orbitals to paired state. So, 6 vacant orbitals has to be made. So, the metal atom will rearrange the 3d orbital electrons so that all the 3d electrons get paired. Now, 2 3d orbital, 1 4s orbital and 3 4p orbitals are vacant. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 orbitals are vacant. And these orbitals are having different energy and different shape. So, as per VB theory, these orbitals should undergo hybridization. Which hybridization? D2sp3 hybridization to form 6 hybrid orbitals having same energy and same shape. Take down, note down, draw this. Now, these hybrid orbitals should be placed in three-dimensional space in an octahedral manner to have minimum repulsion, and the lone pair of electrons from 6Cn- ion occupies the hybrid orbitals. So these are the 6 hybrid orbitals, and lone pair of electrons from the ligand Cn- occupy these hybrid orbitals having same energy and same shape. So the geometry is octahedral. Now see here, this molecule does not contain any unpaired electrons. Hence, this compound is diamagnetic. All the electrons are paired. So the molecule is diamagnetic. See the structure? This is iron. This is the octahedral structure. 6 Cn- are surrounding the ion. See here, iron. This is the octahedral structure of K4FeCN6. Thus, we could say K4FeCN6 is D2sp3 hybridized. It is an inner orbital complex. Why? Because inner 3D orbital took part in hybridization. So it is an inner d orbital. Now it is a low spin complex because all electrons are paired. Hence the molecule is diamagnetic. So we move to another molecule, and I hope you will be able to explain it easily. So the molecule is NiCl4 2-. In this particular molecule, the central atom is nickel, and nickel is in the +2 oxidation state. So we could represent nickel atom in the ground state configuration is 3d8 4s0 4p0. Since the nickel atom is in the +2 oxidation state, two electrons has to be lost. That is, from the 4s orbital, 2 electrons were lost. So we get 3d8 4s0 4p0 configuration. As per VB theory, the central metal atom Ni2 plus should make available vacant orbitals. See, these are the vacant orbitals. To accommodate electron pairs from the ligands. How many ligands? 4 ligands are there. So these 4 orbitals undergo hybridization, sp3 hybridization, to form hybrid orbitals having same shape and same energy. And these 4 hybrid orbitals orient in 3-dimensional space around the central metal ion Ni2 plus in a tetrahedral manner or tetrahedral geometry. Take down. I feel someone is screaming for coffee. Okay, we'll continue. Now see here, as per our discussion continuing, so Cl minus electrons from 4 ligands enter into the hybrid orbitals forming nickel Cl chloride bonds. Now see here, in this molecule it has 2 unpaired electrons in the d orbitals of nickel ion. Hence the compound is paramagnetic. These are the unpaired electrons present in the unhybridized orbital of nickel 2 plus ion. Hence the molecule is paramagnetic. So we can say K2NiCl4 is sp3 hybridized. It is a high spin complex because it has 2 unpaired electrons. It is having a tetrahedral geometry and the molecule is paramagnetic. So we move to another molecule, that is K2NiCN4 or NiCN4 2 minus. So the IUPAC name of this compound is potassium tetracyanonickelate 2. It is potassium tetracyanonickelate 2, or we can say in this particular molecule the nickel atom is the central metal ion with a oxidation state of +2. So in this compound the central metal atom is nickel, which shows a +2 oxidation state. And we have seen already what is the configuration of nickel in the ground state. So nickel atomic number 28. So it is having a configuration of 3d8, 4s2, 4p0. So this is the ground state oxidation state of nickel atom. But nickel is converted to Ni2 plus in this particular coordination compound. So we have to check from where the electrons are lost. So 4s is the valence shell electrons. Hence 2 electrons from the 4s orbitals are lost to form Ni2 plus. Draw it. Take it. Now, as per VB theory, it is the central metal atom or ion should make available vacant orbital equal to the coordination number. So here the central metal atom is nickel, which is surrounded by 4 Cn minus ion. Hence the central atom nickel has to make 4 vacant orbitals. So we expect 1 4s and 3 4p are available. So these will undergo hybridization to form sp3 hybrid orbitals. So we expect it is an sp3 hybridization. But it has observed that, experimentally it has proved that this molecule does not have an sp3 hybridization. And when the hybridization is sp3, we expect a tetrahedral shape. But this molecule is not tetrahedral. So K2NiCN4 is neither sp3 hybridized or it is tetrahedral in geometry. So to explain the observed or experimental phenomenon, we have to think about the pairing of electrons in the d orbital. So these two unpaired electrons in the d orbital undergoes pairing in the d orbital, leaving the last orbital vacant. So the last d orbital is vacant. Now 1d, 1 4s and 2 4p orbitals. Check again. 1 4 3d, 1 4s and 2 4p orbitals undergo dsp2 hybridization. dsp2 hybridization to form hybrid orbitals having same energy and same shape. So the hybridization we expected was sp3, but the actual hybridization is dsp2. Take down. So these dsp2 hybridized orbitals enter into a square planar geometry in three-dimensional space. And to these hybrid orbitals, electron pairs from 4Cn minus, these are the ligands, get ended. So we could say these are the hybrid orbitals occupying in a square planar geometry filled with electron pairs from 4Cn minus ion. Now see here, in this molecule there is no unpaired electron. All the electrons are paired. Hence the molecule is diamagnetic. All the electrons are paired, so the molecule is diamagnetic. See, nickel is occupying in that plane and all the 4Cn minus ions are in the same plane, equal distance from nickel. This is the square planar geometry. In short, we could say for K2NiCN4, it is dsp2 hybridized molecule. It is a low spin complex molecule. It is a square planar geometry molecule. It is diamagnetic. We could say one more thing. This is a inner orbital complex. Why? Because the inner 3D orbital is taking part in the dsp2 hybridization. Hence, it is a inner orbital complex. Now we have two questions here. The first question is, the magnetic moment of FeH2O6 3 minus is very high, 5.92 Bohr magneton, while that of FeCN6 3 minus is very low, 1.74 Bohr magneton. Why? The second question is, FeH2O6 3 minus is an outer orbital complex, while FeCN6 3 minus is an inner orbital complex. Why? So we could explain these answers of these questions. See, in case of FeH2O6 times 3 minus, the hybridization is sp3d2 hybridization. So it is a outer orbital complex. And here pairing of electrons does not occur. So the electrons unpaired are high in number. That means 5 unpaired electrons. So it is a high spin complex with a magnetic moment of 5.92. But in case of FeCN6 3 minus, it is D2sp3 hybridization. All the electrons are paired except one. So its Bohr magneton is found to be 1.74. Okay, take down the answers. So now it is the time for your seminar topic. I will give you the seminar now. Take down the topic. Prepare it. Keep it prepared in your notebook. Next class, that means next Tuesday, between the class, between the slides, I will allow time for each number. You present the seminar at that time. So at that time, you unmute your phone and present it to all your friends. So the seminar topics are: first one, briefly explain the structure of CO NH3 6 times Cl3 using VB theory concept. Second question is, with suitable examples, distinguish between inner and outer orbital complexes. And third one is, compare the hybridization and geometry of COF6Cl3 and COCN6Cl3. So I hope you got the questions and you could write the answers neatly and briefly and do the presentation next class. Thank you. Thank you. Be with me. And coming Friday, you have the online test at your Moodle platform. So before that, all should log in into the Moodle platform, and the questions will be revealed at that time, and use the time properly, answer it. And Friday I may not be able to grade it or see it, but you may get the grading at that moment itself. So I will see it later on Saturday or somewhere. So take care, be safe, and pray to reopen our college as early as possible. Thank you. Thank you very much.